What's going on YouTube? It is your boy Max, aka Hair Guy Blondie. Um, I want to make this YouTube video because I want to talk about what it's like living and knowing what it's like living and maybe understanding people better when they have intellectual disabilities or invisible disabilities. Now, I say invisible because visible disabilities are different than autism spectrum or Down syndrome or ADHD, or there's a whole bunch of disabilities. Autism is the most frequent. Now, I was in a disability classroom um, in high school through grade 9 to grade 12 plus. They call it grade 12 plus because most people with disabilities, their benefits or their programs, not really benefits, but programs to help people navigate life and learn skills with individuals with disabilities, that doesn't really kick in until like you're 21 or over. And I wasn't in the program until I was 21. I was always a little bit slower than a lot of the kids in my class. I was very, very much just different. I didn't understand social cues, I didn't understand social awareness, and still to this day, I struggle with that. I would say I still have my little kid qualities when it comes to my facial expressions and how sometimes I act. And you know the hard part of being an adult with an intellectual disability is that as you get older your structure and your life kind of changes, where school and middle school and high school are all kind of structured forms of life because they have programs in place for those people with disabilities. The problem outside of that is when you get outside of high school, you need to have the capabilities and you need to have the social understanding of being aware and masking your disability and being who you are. And yeah, it's very difficult. And I have trouble with that because I've been you know stigmatized or looked down on being a bad person or someone who is just personal or like the worst possible thing you could think of. I've been categorized as it. Women have always found me creepy. Guys have always found me suspicious. I've always been looked on that I'm basically a stereotype of the bad guy, and I'm nothing like a bad person. I don't have bad moral values. I have really good values for myself. Um, I do admit that I do have anxiety and I do have trouble with social awareness. So I have trouble um, navigating life. And, I end up staring for way too long. And the staring for me, I think, is a way for me to navigate information because I'm trying to be a good person and not trying to be weird or trying to be creepy. But sometimes with my awkwardness, I tend to make a creepy face or a creepy smile when I feel really tensed up. And this happens out in public. This happens to even people I know. I'm just a very weird person, and I'm much better in my personal bubble when I'm at home or if I'm recording a YouTube video because I feel safe in my environment. And so I feel like as I get older, I feel like I gotta be kind of a public sports spokesperson with people with neurodivergent challenges, because we don't think on the same level like other people do, and we are not socially aware sometimes of what is going on. I zone out a lot. I daydream a lot. Um, like I said, I have certain qualities from when I was growing up as a kid that I used as coping mechanisms that I still have to this day. The staring would be one of them, is because it's how I would self regulate my brain to see what was going on in the environment. But because when you get older, you gotta knock down the staring, or else people are gonna find it weird and creepy. I have had to develop tools to kind of stop staring at a certain point and look a different direction, and then look in that same direction and look in a different direction. Kind of like, it's kind of like a puzzle piece. You're kind of trying to figure out what you need to do to succeed. And over the last few weeks, I have definitely really tried to improve on my staring and what I do out in public, and that will always be one that I will struggle with, and I'm actively getting better at it. Um, but I just wanted to film this video, bring awareness to this, to people with intellectual disabilities everywhere, invincible disabilities, because we are not on a spectrum. We get put into a label or a box or a stigma of who we are, of how our mannerisms are, how we are shown out in public. And because society and people are quick to judge you on your appearance or how you look or what you're doing rather than getting to know you first, there can be a lot of stigma attached. Um, so just wanted to get that out there. Um, I'm a very good person. I know that in my heart. I would never do anything wrong. I do uh I do, and I am aware that I do have a staring problem. And I am aware enough to know that if I continue this as I get older, it's gonna look even worse. So I really have to fucking hone it in, and not assume everybody's thinking of me and watching me as much as I'm looking and thinking about myself and what I'm doing in that scenario. It's kind of like one of those things where you gotta look, blink, look, blink, look. And also, another thing that I'm trying to do, I'm trying to keep my face more natural. Like, so I don't do that awkward smile that I do. I'm trying to really work on that. I'm like trying to open up my jaw more, trying to have kind of a closed facial reaction to things. That way it doesn't look, so I just don't look weird at all in public. And these are things that I've never really worked on. And these are traits that I've had since I was a kid that I really need to get under control, or else they're gonna be, it's just, you know, it's the type of things that you need to work on socially when you're out in public, or else people are going to always assume the worst of you. So it's one of those things that I'm really understanding that I what I need to work on, and I'm actively trying to get better at it. So just wanted to bring that up here. um anyway, if you're new to my channel, welcome. I do make beard growth and hair growth monthly updates every month. I also do beard growth routine videos and oil and butter reviews. We're not really oil and butter reviews, but I do combination videos where I show my routine. I gotta make another video like that. But anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.